Dundee United Celtic game, and it never stopped. It just kept going on like this, but thankfully it didn't lie on the ground. Now, Celtic came the roads and the miles to Dundee ill-prepared for this game, of course, without Roy Aitken, without Maurice Johnson, without McGugan, and a thoroughly reorganised defence, and of course with the pressure on, having lost that New Year's Day game to Rangers. So they desperately wanted to win. Quite apart from that, there was an interesting little side contest with two players trying to reach, one before the other, their 100th goal in the Premier Division. On the left, Brian McClare.
Mugabe, back, fetching, carrying. Good understanding. Really is on his game. Robin, off with a header now, yes. Brilliant goal. McClare.
And on the right, Paul Sturrock.
Now McGuinness. Bannon. McInally. Oh, here's Sturrock with a chance. He's done it. The equaliser by Sturrock.
Well, one of these two actually won the race, and you'll find out in just a few minutes. But before the start of the game, I really did notice something not surprisingly. It caught my attention right away. It was a chimney, and it just so happens to be the most expensive chimney in the whole of Dundee.
It just cost £100,000 and lying there at Slumreek, because the boiler is generating the heat to give undersoil heating here at Tannadice, and thus we have a little oasis in the wintry wilderness all around. And there is the referee for today from Aberdeen, Mr. Sandy Roy. Well, Celtic start off on a day that is very cold, and so are the statistics in reflection of their visits here to Tannadice, because they haven't won in the last 8 outings. You've got to go back a full year and a half for the last victory here. Quite astonishing. Now, Ian Redford. Celtic with a much depleted side, of course. Redford. Much too soft. And whipped away there by Anton Rogan, the youngster, 20 years of age, signed from Distillery in Northern Ireland. Neat little run, but too much. Sturrock slow to take off, and I think in any case he was offside. Straight to McInally, the ex-Celtic player who will want to show today. Here's Bannon. And back at Tannadice, Billy Kirkwood. Celtic with a decidedly mixed side, and I'm quite sure the younger members of the party will be helped out by their more experienced brethren. They'll have to be in a day like this, in one of the most important games of the season for Celtic, and for United for that matter. Nice done there by McInally. Wants the ball back. Shepherd goes in. There's the shot, and I think the flag was up in any case, in Celtic, despite the handicap in going into this game, are already indicating they want to attack. Break here by Celtic that could be interesting. The ball forward, not angled enough, and there is Kirkwood again. The run forward by Gallagher. Oh, it's a brilliant run and a superb save by the goalkeeper. And the linesman indicating, and I think quite rightly, that Bonner had rolled out of the penalty area with the ball in his hand, and he may be right, but he wasn't in line with it. He came back. And judge for yourselves. Out he came, rolled across, and from our angle up here, it looked as if he had gone out of the penalty area. Free kick to United. Ferguson, second time, and a very good, solid Celtic defence. Although there was nothing subtle with the way United tried to get through that defence. And I think Shepherd fouling Paul Sturrock, he was indeed. That's a free kick. Tony Shepherd, who I thought had an excellent game against Rangers when he came on as a substitute at Ibrox recently, but mark you, he was surrounded by a lot of mediocrity, and there it's in, yes! Ian Ferguson finishes that off, 1-0. A very exposed-looking Celtic defence. 8 minutes gone. And there were at least a handful of United players who had the opportunity of finishing off that move as it swung across goal. There was a fuss from Van and then Redford, and eventually it was Ian Ferguson, 1-0. Rather hastily taken. Bowman is up there, 2 United players in for it. And Kevin Gallagher at the moment, operating right through the middle for United, with Sturrock on the left, Ian Ferguson on the right. And Malpas now lets it go out. Clear right on the edge of the box, and that's pressed by McStay. Oh dear, oh dear. Now he really needed to put that one away. Quite astonishing for McStay's only scored a couple of goals in the Premier Division. This ought to have been his third this season. It wasn't, and he's a disappointed-looking young man. Well, United's defence looked terribly exposed there. There's McStay again, it's round the side. A beautiful move and tackle. And as I said, they were looking to expose United, but David Neary is one of the great plugger of gaps. And he did it there. Did it almost from the blind side too. Watch this. Coming round and slipped in like that. Saving the jerseys. There's little doubt the Celtic are the better team at the moment, but United have that goal advantage. Bannon getting in a real thankful. Brian McClare it is. Saw the opening and... oh dear. Like passing the parcel to the wrong person. Well, I don't think they're going out. I think maybe it's an overspill. I think it's late Celtic supporters. They are pouring in. McClare. That's McLeod. Him and Bannon going back with them, that might be a little bit too much. Unless he gets a throw, and that's to the delight of the very big Celtic support. Stayed done well in it. Peter Grant. Al McGrain. Danny McGrain actually scored a goal recently. Well, it is a collector's item to see Danny McGrain having a go at goal like that. It really is. I'm sure he won't be offended if I say so. He's always been shot shy, builds up wonderful positions for himself. Remember once at Wembley, he cut the English defence to shreds and then looked for somebody to pass the ball to. Referee wants it taken from the right spot, I think. McInally needs a touch of the head, and there is Thompson. I don't know what he's arguing about. Little corner to me, better get in his goal quickly. Murdo McLeod. Well, Billy Thompson took a return ticket to the edge of the penalty area. He really got back very quickly indeed. Watch him, he went back there and look, that was whistling in. That should go forward, and it does. Kevin Gallagher has a much better ball. No, the touch run. I honestly think that the big central Celtic defender had that well covered. He knew that Gallagher had pushed it forward too much. There's no offside. Look where Bonner is. Great display. Mark Hugh, the Dundee United supporters will simply say, oh well, we had a goalkeeper who could go even further upfield. Now, does he get the Guinness Book of Records for furthest distance out of goal? Through he goes, and there's a lovely sweep up, feel like Beckenbauer. Meanwhile, the half-time whistle has gone. They're trotting in, and I suppose Jim McLean is sprinting down to the dressing room, because what we've seen is a vanishing act. United going in the lead from that goal by Ian Ferguson, which he scored in only 8 minutes, and he, above all else, disappeared like so many of the United players. There he is there. And I think they'll have to answer a few questions, because Celtic then took the initiative, then pressed forward, and are certainly far from dead in this game, I can tell you. A very cold-looking David Hay going into the dugout, and I'm quite sure he was impressed by the way his team came back into the game. But they've got to take the chances, and United, most certainly, about to start the second half, will have to transform themselves. United starting the second half. They are in the lead, but I would imagine the manager has been trying to sort one or two things out there, because certainly they gave too much away to Celtic for their own health in that first half. Although full credit to Celtic for the way they piled in, backed up by this amazing support. Apart from one lapse, Derek White has been playing splendidly for Celtic. United still putting these long, high balls down the middle. Rogan. Next day. Rogan. Onto McLeod. Looking for that shooting chance. And that is the area that Celtic have been very disappointing this afternoon. They built up a lot, but the shooting has gone all awry. He is again, and out to the side, always trying to play constructively. And United at this moment could do with a few nails in the team, same attitude, same drive. Forward, there's Gallagher trying to go in, and he's done it. Oh dear. 2-0. Oh. 5 minutes of the second half gone, and Dundee United handed one on the veritable plate. And by handing on a plate, I mean exactly this. Watch. After you, Claude. There's McStay, there's the goalkeeper, both leaving it, and there's Gallagher. Thank you very much. Oh, dear, oh dear. And after having fought so hard to get into the game, Dundee United have exposed what must always have been a possibility, a flaw in central defence, where Celtic have this makeshift gathering of players. Can go around the side, hooked away there. McInally, and Nenny again. There's a run forward by Gallagher. And White bringing out the best in his goalkeeper that time. Moment missing in that. played him onto McLeod. There's Neary again. Ball Sturrock this time. No free kick, no. Well, the astonishing thing about Kevin Gallagher, because of family connections, he could so easily have gone, and that's in, yes! Oh. Brian McClare. Almost the same kind of goal as Gallagher had scored. 2-1. With about 9 minutes of the second half gone. Celtic back in it again. There was Brian McClare going right through the middle, getting that opportunity as there was hesitation, ramming it in. Celtic fighting back, and that, I think, is no offside. Well, let me try and finish what I was trying to say. What I was saying is that Kevin Gallagher might easily have gone to Celtic because of family connections, and yet his first goal ever for United was against Celtic, and the last time he did score for United was against Celtic, and now this one, and there he is again. Meanwhile, I was trying to explain that to you. Up popped McClare with a goal. Celtic back in it with a vengeance, and there's a run. Grant coming forward. And we have some game now. Redford. Malpas. Yes, free kick. Obstruction. Favouring the short one this time. Sturrock. Playing some very good football now, Celtic. McStay in his element. Oh, look at that, superb pass. Neary, brilliant tackle. That's the best pass of the afternoon by a long way. Really telling one by McStay. It had to be accurate. Look at that. And watch this quite superb intervention. We're having a substitution. I think it's Gary McGuinness who's going to come on, yes. And Paul Sturrock coming off. So an attacker goes off, a defender comes on. Perhaps an indication that United just want to hold on to this lead. Long way to go because there's half an hour still to play. Ooh, it's down with a chance for McClare. He's done it again. Brian McClare, 2 each. An astonishing transformation with the most lethal scorer in the Premier Division, knocking it off once more. United stunned by the Celtic retaliation. And is that ball whipped in? Finding this time a little bit of space, and Thompson given no chance for the equaliser. 16 minutes of the second half gone. Now Rogan. McInally tries to get it through. There's a free kick. Free kick to Celtic. Grant can't get it. And just simply swept away to another Celtic player. Whipped away by Neary. Malpas. Ferguson. Oh, great run forward here by Gallagher. Now, he just simply lacked conviction. Superb ball by Ferguson. And I think, yes, White is hurtling off. Now, Celtic have 2 front men as subs, and it's Owen Archdeacon. Plays on the left, I suppose more midfield kind of player than Mark McGee. Onat Stephen coming on with the central defender off. Ferguson, free kick. So the substitute, Gary McGuinness with it. Off the ref. It's a difficult one, and it's there. Eamon Bannon. 3-2. United have struck back. And a player whom we've hardly seen in the match so far, Eamon Bannon, does it again, as he did against Hearts. He'd acquired his game against Hearts, and then as that ball swung across, he took it so deftly. Oh, just the slightest touch. United in front again in this quite remarkable match. McGuinness. There's the substitute, Kinnear, done well cut off by Bonner. And that's only the second time this season Pat Bonner's had 3 goals put in against them in consecutive weeks, would you believe? It's also painful. Onat Stephen. We judged that very well. Now McStay. McStay with a shot, and a very good one. Almost reminiscent of the shot at Ibrox against Chris Woods. Always going to the right, and then suddenly swinging round. Excellent save by Thompson. Danny McGrain has played his heart out for Celtic, but then when has he not done that? McClair, that's McGee, oh, what a save! And he must be wondering why it never went in, and again it came from Brian McClair. A defence, we need to put manacles in this man. Look at the brilliant way he laid that off, and that's an up and under. It's long, a tricky ball to take. Danny McGrain doing the right thing, putting it through the middle again. Yes, handball. Loud roars about that. We are now about 2 minutes into injury time. Paul McStay and McLeod, the exceptions. Out it comes, and Redford, as the final whistle goes, the ball is trundled away. And there is the man who won the match. That last goal there by Eamon Bannon, he did it in a splendid game. Both sets of players take great credit, but there's little doubt in my mind that Celtic made the match of it, with all the handicaps, coming back twice, and indeed almost winning this match. And the only problem for us now is how do we get back home?